The opinions expressed in the following programs are those of the participants and do not necessarily reflect those of Rogers Cable or Rogers TV.
Hello and welcome to Helping Durham Region. My name's Rob MacArthur and I'm your host and producer of the show. And we have a really interesting episode today because we've never had these guests on before. My guest is Andrea Mianza, and she is the Strategic Communication Specialist with the Durham Children's Aid Society. And she's brought along with her Sean Martin, a foster parent. So Andrea, Sean, welcome to the show.
Yeah.
And Andrea, I guess, could you just give us a little background about the Durham Children's Aid Society and what it does and the things that it's sort of responsible for and helps out with Durham Region?
Sure. Thank you so much for having us. It's a real pleasure to be on your show today. Yes, the Durham Children's Aid Society is the agency designated within Durham Region to investigate concerns about children at risk, perhaps children who've been abused or neglected or are at risk of. We do service all of Durham Region, and we are mandated by the Ontario government to deliver this mandate. It really is much more than that, though. We really do. Ideally, we're here to serve families and support families. And absolutely, we are mandated to investigate if there are concerns about a child who's been abused. And we do receive calls from really anybody in the community can call if you have a concern about a child at risk. But we do receive most of our calls probably from the schools, police, and the healthcare sector. And ideally, what happens is when we receive a call, we're hopefully able to support the family, perhaps connect them with other community resources, in which case that would negate any need for further children's aid involvement. That it really is our goal. Part of that is bringing children into care if absolutely necessary, and that really is a last resort. And then that is where, the foster parents come into play. We also do provide adoption services for Durham Region. So if there are children who are eligible for adoption, that we do provide that service as well, and we provide all the public adoptions services for Durham Region.
Right. So I mean, your first goal is to solve the problem and work out with resources to try to, keep the children at home. But if it's necessary, then the solution is foster care or adoption.
Right. Yeah. We really have. It's really reflected in our stats. Right. We, at one point, we had over 1,000 children in care, and that was in, I think, approximately 2008. And even with an increase in population, and the number of referrals to us has only increased slightly. It's perhaps less proportional than the actual population growth of Durham, but really interestingly, with a lot of efforts and a lot of changes over the past 10 years or so, we've reduced the number of children in care significantly. And right. We closed out the fiscal year last year with 285 children in care, and currently we're under 200. So wow. That's an incredible difference. And that just is really reflective of the work that the different approach that we're taking. And we aren't investigating as many cases, and we definitely are bringing a child into care is really the last resort. Yeah. And it's incredible that we went from over 1,000 children in care at one point to now I think it was 189 when I checked today.
Right. So now just go back a couple of years. Did COVID have any effect on the number of cases up or down or anything like that?
Well, it didn't. It probably was more the character of the cases. It absolutely put pressure on those families who are marginalized or perhaps experiencing some more difficulties. COVID was really hard on everybody. And for families who are already perhaps disconnected don't have as many resources, perhaps precarious housing is a concern, access to food. And as I'm sure we all remember, there was, even getting toilet paper was a challenge. So for families who are already struggling, that just made it that much worse. And so we definitely saw an impact on families in terms of their needs escalated. And at that point, we ended up turning our boardroom into almost like a food bank. We started we changed direction, and we did everything we could to try to get food and things like diapers and other needs for children. And that became our focus, especially for those first few months.
Right.
But yeah, no, COVID definitely had an impact. It also really had an impact on the foster homes. It was obviously very stressful for many people. And we had a number of foster homes who chose to retire early because of those challenges. It just became very difficult in terms of having to also work with, when we really struggled, we were scrambling like everybody else in terms of how to provide that access between children who were in care to be able to visit their families.
Right.
And foster parents were kind of caught in the middle of that, helping us figure out, and things were changing day by day, and even court visits. Managing all of those features certainly became very challenging during COVID.
Right. Well, I mean, I remember I have 6 children. They're all gone now, but they're all moved out and have their own kids. So I have 12 grandchildren. I was an only child, so it's culture shock. But I mean, just yeah, I mean, just in normal times that could be stressful. So I guess so. There's a need for foster parents at the current time.
Yes, and it really is becoming an urgent need. And it's not so much that the number of children coming into care has increased. It's really more that the number of foster homes has decreased. We just aren't receiving the inquiries that we once did. So on top of homes that left during COVID, we have also the numbers of inquiries coming in and new applications just aren't the same, which I think we've seen across the board. I know charities and nonprofits are really struggling to get volunteers. And I think that's consistent in that we're not getting as many inquiries for foster care. Right. The other key piece of that is we're really putting an effort into ensuring that we have a really diverse pool of foster homes, and that means diverse in every sense of the word, both right. geographically across Durham Region, but especially culturally, in terms of language, religion, culture, the history, because we want to make sure that when we do place children in homes, we make every effort possible to ensure a cultural match. And so if possible, we will place place children with families of a similar cultural background if possible. We also try to keep kids with their routines consistent. So if we can keep them in their regular school, keep them connected to their family, their friends, their neighborhood, that's also really important. So that's a key piece to finding the foster homes all across Durham. And we really especially need homes in kind of the Ajax Pickering area, and especially Black and Black biracial homes. It actually is, we're very consciously we really want anybody. If you're interested, please apply. Right. But that definitely is a goal of ours, to increase that pool of families. Right.
So Sean, how long have you been a foster parent?
We've been foster parents for 8 years now. So
wow.
Yeah, it's been an interesting journey.
Yes. And so what sort of, where did the thought come from? When did you just, decide to become a foster parent?
Well, both me and my wife, our backgrounds, her family typically, back home, they used to, take in people. My family was similar, but during my younger ages, I had family members who were actually foster parents. So I was already exposed to it. Okay. And it just seemed kind of a normal thing for both sides of our family. So I did mention it to my wife a few years back, and you know what, we thought we would check it out and just go to one of the informational sessions and go from there.
All right. And so you've been at it for 8 years. What's the experience like?
It's great. So when we first signed up to be foster parents, we actually did it in a relief format. Okay. So we weren't 100% on board yet, but we wanted to kind of test it out and see how it would work out. So we went through the, all of the qualification steps and everything. And we did that for about a year. And then we started doing relief occasionally, right? And, we had a few weekend reliefs and stuff like that. And since then, it's been a great experience, right? We've seen just changes in the children that have come to our home, and the impact that it's had on them, in each and every child, right? So it's been a great experience overall.
That's great. And I guess sort of brings me to a point. So Andrea, if there's anybody out there that's thinking of becoming a foster parent, what is sort of the process that they have to go through, and what do they do to contact you?
Well, you can contact us anytime. We do, any time of the year. Please give us a call or email us, and you can reach us at foster@durhamcas.ca. But we do have info sessions at various times throughout the year, and we actually do have one happening next Thursday, November 30th. So we invite anybody who's interested in thinking about it to please attend that, or we will be doing some info sessions in the new year as well.
Okay.
You don't have to come to the info session, but it certainly is very useful. You'll get a much better picture of what the need is, what the process is, and you'll also meet some of the staff and who can answer all your questions. But again, if you can't make it to the info session, that's fine. Please contact us, because you can apply at any time throughout the year.
Right. So what's the sort of the biggest challenge of fostering?
One of the biggest challenges, you know what, it's just getting the child adjusted to your home, because, you know, obviously they've been taken out of their home, and it can be scary for them, and making them comfortable and making them understand you're here to support them. It's just a transitional period, and we're hoping and working with your parents to get you back home once everything is safe and secure for you, right? So that can be the challenge. And then when you have multiple children and the personalities, so it's just adjusting to them and making sure they feel loved and cared for.
Right. I mean, and the same issues would probably be, and I'm from or have a blended family. Yeah. Children from one marriage with children from another marriage. So they have to learn to blend together and get along together. So it's probably not much different than that, really.
Oh yeah, no, it's pretty much the same. We have a bio daughter as well, so I mean, them adjusting to her, she's actually diagnosed with Tourette's, so how they interact with her as well is interesting to see, and then they all love her, so it's been great.
Oh, that's great. So I guess the big push is for Andrea. The big push is for foster parents and get people to at least inquire.
Yeah.
And you have your sessions. They can learn more about it. Now, is it a long and detailed process to go through? I mean, I'm sure there has to be background checks and a lot of things like that.
Yeah, it can be a very lengthy process, but that is also an opportunity for those who are applying to really think about it. This is a big commitment.
Yes.
And well, actually, as Sean mentioned, they thought about it for a while, and they kind of dipped their toe in and did the relief first. And we often find that people get into it because they know somebody who either works in child welfare or is also a foster parent, and that's fairly common. So I think people often think about it for quite a while, which is a good thing. We want people to really take this seriously, and that's true of the process. So there is a very lengthy interview and screening process. Everybody in the family has to be on board. It's not going to work if one person is more eager than someone else. So, and there has to be background checks on everybody in the home, and there also is a lot of mandatory training. So so there's a very lengthy orientation and training process. So it does take quite a while. But again, that really is an opportunity for the applicant to think about it. It's also possible that you start that process and it may not be right for your family right now. So you can, pause and maybe come back to it in a year or two when circumstances are different. So while it is a lengthy process, we also look at it as an opportunity for applicants to really learn and think about the commitment.
All right. Well, we've run out of time, but this has been very interesting. Sean, thank you so much for showing up, and thank you for what you're doing, helping children, and because children need love and attention, and sometimes they need help getting through tough times. And Andrea, it's great. Thank you so much for showing up. We're definitely going to have you back again, maybe in 6 months or so, to see how things are going. And okay. And my guests have been Andrea. What's your last name again?
Meandra.
All right. And she is the strategic communication specialist of the Durham Children's Aid Society. And her guest as well was Sean Martin, who is a foster parent. Again, thank you very much for joining us. It's been very interesting, and have a great day.
This program is brought to you by Ignite TV. Now you're in command. Visit Rogers.com for more details.
episodes of Chicago Wednesday return January 17th on City TV.
Remember me?
Let's get to work. Just like old times.
Looks like we're going for a ride.
We're doing this my way.
This is Rogers TV.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Helping Durham Region. I'm your host, Rob MacArthur, and my guest on this segment is the president of the Rotary Club of Whitby Sunrise, Carrie Ann Large. Carrie, thanks for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me.
Oh, great. Well, and Whitby Sunrise is one of my favorite ones because, hey, the Rib Fest is great. You guys are really active. So yeah, I guess that's sort of why I wanted to get you on to see what's going on with the club these days and what you're up to. But maybe a little background on the club first.
Sure. So, we are the Rotary Club of Whitby Sunrise. We are a club of about 80 members. What else can I tell you? We do lots in the community. As you mentioned, Whitby Rib Fest is our signature sort of event of the year, our biggest fundraiser of the year. And we're just out there trying to, raise as much money as we can so that we can put all of that money back into the community right here in Whitby. So, we do lots of things to make that happen.
Right. That's great. And it's been around for quite a while, that club, has it not?
Yeah, it's been around since the late 80s, early 90s, I believe.
Okay, yeah, that's a
little bit before my time.
so I guess, and you mentioned the community. What are some of the organizations and projects that you help and support through fundraising, like things like the Rib Fest?
So yeah, we have a lot of organizations that are deserving and needy in our community. Reach Farms is one of them. The Durham Ignite Learning Center is another one. We certainly give to a lot of food banks, Kids Safety Village. Pretty much every charity that's out there we've probably touched in some way, whether it be financial or it be through volunteerism to help them out at their fundraising efforts as well. So yes, lots.
And that's one thing I always try to impress on people is that the funds raised by Rotary clubs 100% goes to support things. There's no admin overhead or anything like that.
No, everything that we raise stays within our community.
Yeah. So
there's a few international projects, obviously, that we do as well, that those funds help to fund, but a good portion of it stays right here locally.
Yeah. Oh, and there's always international projects. A lot of clubs help out on things like that. So your background, when did you join the club?
I joined the club in 2018. I came in just as a member, wanting to do some good things and good work in our community. And I actually saw those yellow volunteer shirts that they wear at Rib Fest, and I thought to myself, I'll never forget thinking, how do I get involved in doing something so spectacular? Because that's 100% volunteer driven. And then I took a sort of a position on the board, and then eventually worked my way through, and honored to become the next president of this club.
Nice. Yeah, I still have my T-shirt. I even have sunglasses. I was your first sound man for Rib Fest.
Oh, were you?
As well as we performed, but they needed help with sound. So because I was a member of Ajax and Pickering, we did the Rib Fest there.
Okay.
Yeah. So besides Rib Fest, what are some of the other fundraising things going on with the club?
Well, right now is a particularly busy time. There's a lot of need in the community leading up to sort of the colder weather and the the Christmas holidays. So we've partnered with the Rotary Club of Whitby, the other club. As well as the BAM Club, the Lions Club of Brooklyn, Ashburn, Myrtle, I believe it stands for. We're doing a food drive, a month-long food drive. So that's on the go right now. We also look to do Operation Poinsettia, which is a very cool thing. We purchase 100 poinsettias, and our members can decide who maybe they'd like that poinsettia to go to. So maybe there's a loved one that's alone, or they've met somebody along the way that's had an impact on their life, and we show up with a poinsettia for that person.
That's really nice.
Involved in the Santa Claus parade here in Whitby as well, which is coming up soon. We are also, this one's a big one for us. The 1st, 2nd, 8th, and 9th of December, we are going to be at the Kids Safety Village, giving out popcorn for their annual Christmas holiday market. We also get involved in the Salvation Army kettle drive. So you'll see us at the liquor stores and the grocery stores, shaking our bells, dressed up like Santa's little helpers and Santa's little elves.
Yes.
And then just after Christmas, we are looking to our second biggest fundraiser that we have, which is called Savor the Flavor. So
I remember that one.
Yeah, we bring a lot of restaurants in, and we just have a great time going around sampling food. And last year, Denise, our fundraising director, and her team raised over $40,000 for that event in one evening. So again, all that money to go back into the community.
Right. And I guess, with Rotary clubs, of course, there's meetings, and you got Sunrise because you have morning meetings, yes. But you have interesting speakers, and you welcome guests that people want to come out and listen to a speaker, learn more about Rotary. Is that correct?
100%. 100%. Yeah. We have a different speaker every week. And a lot of the times too, we get some speakers to come that are recipients of our financial contributions to come let us know how they've used that money that we've given them. So it's really nice to see the impact that it's got in our community.
Right. Yeah. And one of the things I'm sort of, I won't say a stalker of Rotary clubs, but I watch a lot of things going on with Rotary, and you guys have been helping a lot of the food kitchens as of late.
Yes. Well, we go every month. We have a designated time that we go to the Durham Outlook for the Needy, right. And we prep in the morning and we serve at night. So that's there's a core amazing group that are very dedicated to going there every month. But we of course welcome anybody to come help us. In fact, we're actually having our Rotary meeting there tomorrow, just to get some of our members there that haven't had the opportunity to see the soup kitchen. So take the show on the road, so to speak.
That's right. Well, it's a new soup kitchen too. It's relatively new, is it not?
It is. Yes, it is. It's down on Simcoe Street. I think it's 227. So a little bit down towards, I think it's the old Dairy Queen or the current Dairy Queen that's there.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's a new building for a lot of people. A lot of people haven't seen it. So we thought, let's take it on the road. Let's go see what goes on.
Right. Yeah. I mean, it's amazing. I mean, I've attended a number of your meetings, and you're such a lively club. It's most clubs are lively, but you're one of the more livelier clubs, I think, and it's really enjoyable. Yeah. So, I mean, where do you have your meetings each week?
So we meet at the Royal Canadian Legion downtown Whitby.
Okay. Well, that's a nice spot. Okay.
It's a great spot. Yeah. And it's nice to be able to support them as well, because they're another recipient of our financial donations as well. So Whitby for everybody. Yeah.
I'm a big Legion supporter. So it's sort of killing two birds with one stone, actually. It's great. Yeah. So what's the plans like, for the future, status quo, or you got new things you're looking at or anything like that?
Yeah. I mean, there's always, we never say no to a new idea that's brought to us. We're looking at planning out next year's Rib Fest. Our new team is almost in place to start that planning, because of course, as I'm sure you know, that takes about a good 6-7 months to plan and work through. So we're looking at maybe making a few changes to it and, keep it a little bit lively. Like I said, our Savor the Flavors back for this year. And just, doing more, even small fundraisers. Right. Those little tiny fundraisers that are $1,000, $2,000 profits certainly make a difference in the grand scheme of things. So, we're just going to keep going along as we are.
Yeah, and I seem to remember silent auctions happening and things like that. Now, have you found, and you've been a member since 2018, which is sort of interesting. Have you found like requests and organizations more coming in, because everybody needs help? But are you being approached more by organizations and community groups to help them out with things?
We definitely are. In fact, we put a pause on it during COVID, just because we didn't know what the future held for us. So we were trying to be a little bit financially responsible as well. But we finally got back to our big asks. That's where we give away, that big amount of money, whether it be $20,000, $25,000 or $30,000. So we've gotten back to that and see, I think we had 7 or 8 applications last year for that, which I think was a record. So it's definitely, the need is definitely there. The need is great. And, you want to support all of them in some way. So
I know. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's nice that Durham has so many Rotary clubs, though. There's, everybody can give a little bit. Like you talked about Children's Village, a lot of clubs kick into that. We were just talking to Joe Solway, Durham Feed the Need concert.
Concert coming up. Yeah.
Yeah. So, there's a lot of things going on. The clubs working together, the synergy, they can do a lot.
Yeah.
Mention international projects. I mean, because community, big support, but what are some of the international projects that you're working on or looking at doing?
We've got two projects that we consistently do every year. One is a project in Laos, which is over near Thailand, and we bring water filters to the community.
I have my picture of my water filter from over there.
Awesome. Yeah. Steve Rutledge has led that initiative for many, many, many years. And I think actually his last meeting with us is tomorrow, and then he's gone to Laos for I think it's 4 months he's off.
Yeah, we keep in touch every now and then because that man deserves the Order of Canada or something, because he just puts right into that, has for years.
Yeah, he actually got recognized last week at our meeting. Another club awarded him a Paul Harris.
Oh, very good.
The highest honors that you can get in our club, and it was chosen by his peers of another club. So that was nice to be able to see accept that before he leaves. And then the other one, we do a lot of work in the Bates in the Dominican Republic. So I think we're going to be heading down there in January. A team of Rotarians and husbands and children, and doing some more installation and more toilet installations, bringing water to the far fields. But those are the big international projects that we look forward to every year.
Yeah,
and it's nice to get back to them after COVID as well.
Yeah, my wife and I actually were in Dominican about a month ago, and it's they need, there's some nice cities, but outside the cities they have nothing really.
They have nothing.
These days, you would think that's not possible, but it is very possible.
It absolutely is. And one of the sort of initiatives that goes along with the Dominican project is one of our Rotarians, Janet Thornhinston. She goes around from club to club and teaches clubs how to sew reusable menstrual products for teen girls.
Okay. Wow.
And takes it down because, not having those proper having those supplies and those tools, some of the girls can't even go to school. So another good example of collaboration between clubs, and she goes around and does sew-a-thons and teaches everybody how to sew them all, and has an amazing, huge basket of them to bring down. So,
all right. So, are you going to, your presidency, is it 1 year? Or are you going to stay for more? Or, I know you rotate. Sometimes you do, sometimes you don't. Depends on the club.
I will be a 1-year president. Yeah.
Okay. When I was president of Age
actually announcing my successor on Tuesday.
Oh, good. Well, it's always good when you get a successor. Now, during COVID and stuff, even with the virtual meetings, it was hard to get successors. And some clubs were having trouble with that.
Yeah. So I think I may have voluntold my successor. I don't know, but regardless, that person will be announced Tuesday at our Christmas party, and will take the reins after me.
That's great. Well, it's always good not to show up at a meeting, because you might find yourself in a position that you didn't know.
That's right. You're in.
You've been nominated and accepted to. So,
Absolutely.
We're running out of time, but anything else? I think I invite people that they should really check out the Rotary Club of Whitby Sunrise if they're Whitby area, or any Rotary Club. But any final words before we sign off?
No, I mean, just to your point, Rotary is a great organization to get into. Some of my best friends are now because of being in the Rotary Club. So check out a few clubs and see which one you jive with and which one makes the most sense for you. But, our doors are always open at Whitby Sunrise.
All right. Well, thank you very much, Carrie, for joining us. My guest has been Carrie Ann Large and she's the president of the Rotary Club of Whitby Sunrise. And thank you for coming, Carrie. And you've been watching Helping Durham Region. I'm your host, Rob MacArthur, and we'll talk to you next time. Bye-bye.
Connect with us by visiting our website or email us at comments@rogerstv.com.